paying company. People get about 60 or 50% of what their market worth is. And she said, what Tata Steel gives me cannot be given by any private sector or public sector company. And I asked her, what is it? And she said, dignity. They give me dignity. And I will show you when Muthurman says that if somebody is dissenting with the boss, can you dare to dissent with your boss? Sorry, sir. Can you dare in India? If you have your own view and you say to the boss, sir, I disagree with you, what will happen? Fear. मुझे निकालना दे boss, मुझे दुखी ना कर दे. Okay, though you have a wonderful person, I discovered the inner beauty of your director, and I'm so proud that people like him are leading your institution. But I wanted to say that we have this problem that people do not dissent. Until you are given the freedom to dissent, there cannot be creativity in the organization, because you will not be able to speak your heart. And the best ideas are created by people dissenting. And then this is how today the whole focus is on diverse teams, so that people with different background and different training, they come out with different ideas. Okay, so what I'm trying to say, the question is that do you have belief in the goals of that organization? Is this organization so nice with you that you develop a natural love for this organization? You believe in the goals and the vision of the organization, and then we say that you are engaged. Okay, fine. How do we translate these three things? You are very passionate. You have the passion for work. You know, when you work like mad. In fact, as somebody has said that if mad people were not there, we would have been very poor. All these ideas come only from mad people. Ordinary people like, not you, but me, cannot be creative. 9 to 5, people enjoying. Those who give ideas, and you know, it is believed that 21st century is a century of concepts. That those who are able to bring out concepts, they will rule the roost. And therefore, unless you have passions, there is no question of ideas. There is no question of professionalism, concern for detail, customer centricity. You have to have that passion for work, and you are not just satisfied, but you have the passion, you are enthusiastic, you are proud to belong to that company. You say with a sense of pride, oh, this is my organization. From the heart of your heart, and you recommend others, come to this company, it is a great company. This is the first thing, and then you also stay with the organization. Organization does not have retention problem. You stay. So I'm not saying that you are a bonded labor and then you cannot leave. That depends upon the CEOs, and you are prepared to go beyond. If kabhi raat ko der tak baithna pad gaya, 2 baje tak, you don't crib. Rather you enjoy. You are contributing to the goals of the organization. But this is all what is written in stories, kahaniya, films. Is it possible? Very few organizations actually have been able to operationalize this. Say, stay and strive. You say my organization is top, you stay with the organization and you strive for exponential performance of the organization. This is the data which I am giving you, collected by a global organization like Tower Perrin, which later on merged in Watson Wyatt. And highly engaged people in India are just 7%. And what is this green bar is the most dangerous thing, highly disengaged or disengaged, what we call, which is the highest in this country. These are the people who don't work. Now the question is, how do you make them work is the question. Such people are there in Tata Steel also. Such people are there in MNCs also. Okay, some of them. But can you convert these C players into B players? I'll give you a story. A guy goes to a construction site and they are all breaking stones. There are 3 workers over there. He asks the first guy, ki kya kar rahe ho bhai? He says, पत्थर तोड़ रहा हूं, तुम्हें दिख नहीं रहा है, अपनी तकदीर को रो रहा हूं. He goes to the other guy. आप क्या कर रहे हो? इसे बाबूजी अपनी रोटी रोजी कमा रहे हैं, बच्चे भूखे हैं, अगर काम नहीं करेंगे तो बच्चों को कैसे मिलेगा? एंड ही गोज टू द थर्ड गाय, तो क्या कर रहे हो? एंड ही सेज, आई एम बिल्डिंग ए टेम्पल. All the three workers were paid the same money. What is the difference? These three are the A, C, B and A players in the organization, depending upon the attitude. So your first problem is, why did you recruit C? That's why the whole focus, the Google, 85% time of the top management of Google goes in recruitment, and you have to face something like 11 to 16 interviews in recruiting. Because if you do your recruitment right, IIM Ahmedabad has never advertised a vacancy. You can never get faculty by advertising. Faculty के लोगों का बहुत ही arrogance होती है, उनकी दाढ़ी में हाथ डाल के बोलना पड़ता है, आ जाइए आप हमारे यहाँ आइए. They need their hunger for, most of them are hungry for this pampering. They never in the history they have advertised a vacancy. So they search. I was shocked when I got a letter in 2000 from Professor Khandwala asking me if you would like you to, and then I was told that they have never advised. This is how they approach people. Now what I'm trying to say, how do you recruit your people is the real question. Do you recruit if you critically, strategically recruit your people, build competencies, see attitude, and if you recruit your people, you don't have to do much, and you will be able to recruit all A players. This is what they do. I have a video, but I don't have time. I would have shown you how Google, for example, it does. Let me show you this if some of you have not, because otherwise you will probably not believe me. इसका वो, how do you minimize it? अच्छा एक मिनट, जस्ट अ मिनट भैया, एक आदमी यहीं रहना. पार्डन. Yes, I have the video with me. Oh no, sorry, not this video. There is another one actually, which was not on my agenda, but I thought that. Can we switch off
7:44. So are you dreading going to work this morning? Well, there's one place where people are knocking down the doors to get a job. Today, Fortune magazine names the 100 best companies to work for in America, and NBC's John Larson is standing by at the New York office of the company that is at the top of the list. John, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Matt. One of the things that's been so much fun about this particular story is that the reason this company is number one of many reasons, is that people are having so much fun here. This is their game room where they come down and play video games or a little foosball during the course of the day if they want to. Now, if you missed the name of the company when we were teasing it before the break, I'll give you a hint. They've been in the news a lot this year with record profits, huge acquisitions. Many people know their name. In fact, the name of the company has now become its own verb in the dictionary. So while you're thinking about that, I'll show you why Fortune magazine thinks that this company is the killer place to work in America. First off, let's talk food.
We have a stir fry of calamari with Chinese sausage.
Imagine 11 gourmet restaurants in your office.
We serve rack of lamb all the time.
And all the food is free.
Julie, salad?
Now imagine a free fitness center.
Come on, don't give up on me.
A barber shop that comes to you. Car washes while you work. Pool tables in your office. Lap pools for exercise. Volleyball courts, and naturally, company massages. Sound like vacation?
No, it's definitely not a vacation, but it's a pretty great place to work.
Want to buy a hybrid? This company will give you $5,000 to do it. Want to wear your jammies to work? No problem. Do your laundry? Free.
Some nice deep breath in and out.
Got a cold? There are 5 doctors on site, and they are all free.
There's a culture of appreciating your environment, your fellow human being, how it should be in utopia.
Utopia may be a bit strong, but after studying hundreds of American companies, Fortune magazine this morning is announcing that
Google is America's best company to work for.
That's right, Google. All these perks are the product of the search engine giant based in Mountain View, California.
This is the most engaging, insanely great work environment in corporate America. I mean, it blows your mind when you see all the food, the massage stations, the couches, the wacky behavior. You know, people are truly having a great time at work here.
And what does Google get in return? Employees with tremendous job loyalty and productivity.
Everything's sort of geared towards letting you focus on being productive and actually building a great product.
Who work through the night if necessary, and who tell us they have never had more fun. The Vice President of People Operations, Laszlo Bach.
It seems like people here are way too happy. Seriously, it looks like a problem. They're way too happy. I want to see more frowns around here.
Yeah, if that's a problem, I hope we have lots of problems of that nature.
If there's a problem, it's success. Despite all these expensive perks, the company is posting record profits with huge margins and growing so fast that keeping this intimate culture will be a challenge.
Google receives about 3,000 applications a day. That's about 1 million a year, all chasing about 4,000 jobs.
Jobs with drop-dead perks. Googlers, as they call themselves, can bring their pets to work, just as long as their coworkers don't mind pets or heavy breathing. That's better.
It's nice to be able to share a little bit of your life with your coworkers.
But will the company's founders wake up one day and realize their employees are having too much fun? Like these two clowning around in their silver capes? Oh wait, those are Google's founders, billionaires Larry Page and Sergey Brin.
I think a lot of the core philosophy about how we think about people comes from that. Hierarchy is bad, big monolithic teams are bad, and the opposite of those are good.
Meaning small, creative teams, highly flexible, and so motivated.
I'm a photographer. I'm going to take your picture from a helicopter about 500 feet above you.
That Googlers are happy to do almost anything for their company, including standing out in the rain for the Fortune magazine photo shoot.
It could be a blizzard. People would still be out here. People love the company.
So can I have a job?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm really
absolutely
kidding.
can.
I'm very happy where I am. I'm not kidding, can I? No, I'm kidding.
And for the lucky ones who do get jobs at Google, they tell us it is easy to love this company and a little difficult to keep a straight face.
This is a phenomenal upgrade from my last employer.
I love my job.
I have more fun here than I do sometimes with my own family. Wait, don't quote me on that.
Now the issue comes out in a week. The runner-up was Genentech. Whole Foods is also in there. Container Store, and just a lot of great companies. Matt?
John, I thought we had a good here at GE NBC. I may have to pull a Norma Ray and cut some kind of employee meeting after all this. John?
Can you bring the same? No, it's okay. Okay, we were around here. Can you imagine what is the market cap of Google? It is 350 billion US dollar, which is something like 22 lakh crore rupees is the market cap, which is 3 times the whole budget of the government of India. Can you imagine? And how is it? This is the state of enjoyment of their people, and this is what the value they have created. And last year, last year there was just $100 billion. Last year they became $200 billion, and this year they are $350 billion. This is how the market cap, because people have belief in this company, and they do it through their people. This was not on my agenda to show you this, but just to apprise you that this is one extreme. Manufacturing organization and most service organization where cost is a problem may not. This was an old picture about 6 years ago. Now they have 18 restaurants. 18 restaurants they have, and food is free. Why do you need it? I'm advising a company, an automobile company, and I'm training its 150 first line managers. I have done almost the job, then I'll do the middle management. And I suggested to them that why don't you have more than one type of food? Everybody has to queue up and get the same food. And I suggested, why don't you have 2 types of food to begin with, and can you have 3 types of food? The cost will not increase much, and this company is a huge, big company. HR, 40 of them are there in HR, some of my old students also. They are also in the same mindset. No, they become too demanding. This is a top company, okay? This is our attitude. But why? Because there are some Bengalis, South Indians, and I was once in Mexico for 15 days. When I came back, I lost 4 kilogram weight, because the Mexican delicacies are known, but I had some kind of smell there, and I became too allergic to food, and almost I starved myself. What is the moral of the story? That some people are very foolishly sensitive to food or to other things. This is called diversity. This is called individual idiosyncrasy. Can you manage the individual idiosyncrasies of your people? If some people, they are like me, supposing, I will leave that organization if supposing I don't like their food. And you have no cost. But the HR say we'll control. Because the food, people will eat another set of food. That's the reason why now they have 11, then now they have 18 restaurants and food is free. And still, it doesn't cause drain on your budget, because the amount of benefit your employees are giving you through their engagement, that's what I'm talking about, is amazing. Can you believe 22 lakh crore rupees companies, and by bachas, these are not even 40 years of age. When they started the company 15 years ago, the Larry Page did not have one room to hire, and his girlfriend said, why don't you start in my garage? So he started in her garage, and the rest is history. This is how today, so these big players who are out today, because the world, there is so much chaotic competition, new players are coming up. Some of them have incrementalist low cost strategies. You know how IBM was defeated, and who defeated IBM? 1990, it was on the brink of closure. It's pride of America. Nobel laureates work there. And what happened? A small player like Compaq, they came, IBM started this desktop, is the invention of IBM, and Compaq came with wonderful small low cost product, and IBM went into $4 billion loss. $4 billion is something like 25,000 crore rupees lost in 1 year. And they removed the CEO, and they brought a new CEO, and then eventually they got 6 billion profit in 2-3 years, and the rest is history. So these small players, fortunately IBM survived. What happened to General Motors? Its budget was itself more than Government of India budget, a huge company. Because companies are not able to foresee, what is going to happen. We become too arrogant. We all think I am Aishwarya Rai, I am on the top of the world, and then we don't understand that all these are short-lived things, and you invest into your viability and how you are creating. In fact, Peter Senge says, can you contribute to your own chaos? If you are not able to contribute to your own chaos, then your viability is suspect. What does that mean? That create chaos for yourself and be passionate and proactive and save yourself. Anyway, so why is it that in India this situation is so dangerous? Though Japan, the highly engaged people are just 2%, but their yellow bar is quite okay, 57% moderately engaged, and their highly disengaged people, though we all think no, Japan is top, doesn't happen. Suicide rate is very high in Japan. The society has matured somehow. And I had a Japanese general manager in my class, and he did say that this is all very true and nothing is exaggerated. Of course, this is not Indian data where we have a lot of fudging sometimes, and this is because this is a global company. And look at Mexico, 40% people are highly engaged. That's why there are a lot of Hispanics in America, and they are very well respected, Filipinos and Mexicans. And they have just 9%, they're green, the dangerous bar is 9%, and our dangerous bar is 56%. Now, how will you look at them? Are they all sale dande ke yaar, what we say? Sab sale dande ke yaar hai. If you treat them that way, you can never improve them. I had a French woman who is my friend, and she was talking to me on the Facebook, and she was saying that, my daughter has left me, and this and that, she was a divorcee, and then what should I do? And then I was advising of what is called appreciative inquiry. I said that you start loving her and forget the past, and then so and so forth. The question is that if you have People who are in the C category, you cannot improve them by punishment. And there are such people are there always in all organizations. Okay, and you have to start loving them and see the beauty within them. First of all, why did you recruit them? If you have recruited, you have made mistake, then don't go the negative way, positive. I don't know if some of you have heard about this appreciative inquiry, which is quite in vogue, and it is used in marital relations. A lot of husband and wife who are on the verge of divorce, by appreciative inquiry, they have been able to see again, live together again. Likewise, it is being used in change management, this appreciative inquiry. So, but then we don't have imaginative and proactive CEOs. That's the problem. Most of our CEOs are in control mindset. That's the problem. And so we have to ask ourselves, we say that India will be the third largest economy in the world, but I would say this is your biggest problem. People don't work. And this sample is across government, military, army, police, private, teachers, all people. This is a mixed sample. There are organizations where maybe 70% people are engaged and nobody is disengaged. Okay, it's also possible. And there are some where nobody is engaged. If you go to a MCD office or DD office, you can see what kind of, I'm sorry, if some of you might be having your relatives over there, but this is what we all experience. Even in United States, just 20%, 21%. Normally we say 20, 60, 20 in most organizations. In UK, if you have 12, 65, 23. But the most dangerous situation, as I said, this is India, 56% people don't work, and we say that they need to be commanded and thrown out. That probably has not been working. Okay, so there are two extremes of this engagement. I gave you the simple example of Tata Steel. If you see a Tata Steel picture, people work in seemingly very bad conditions. In fact, I was there and I saw for those 3 days how steel is being manufactured, people in sullied clothes and but I talked to some of them and they were very happy. And I saw first organization in India where the vision is displayed all over Tata Steel. And their vision was to become an EVA positive company. And normally vision is never realized. And they realized it before time. They said by 2007 we should be an EVA positive company, and they realized it in 2005. I'll show you that in video, Muthuraman saying, that CEO then saying this. So most people, what requires customer centricity? What requires high performance work system? Two things. Do you have a strategy which includes vision, mission, your values, your competencies? Number one. Number two, action. Do you have to operationalize this strategy? Do you have leadership? Like Lou Gerstner, who revived IBM. So bring a leader. Okay, that leader creates systems which doesn't control people, which thinks that creativity of people comes out. Okay, and do you have systems, policies, programs, and everything is aligned and integrated in such a way that you are able to generate performance. That's action. Now, it is possible that you can do it just by this. Is very, very usual. This petting is very usual in India, isn't it? You don't mind, sir, if I pet you? You are a faculty member, or maybe some student. Supposing you are my subordinate, though you are my boss, but please keep sitting, sir. How do you feel, supposing I say, what is your name, Dr. Gupta? Dr. Gupta. How is your son? And he must have got 96% time. Oh, he's an amazing boy. Last time I know, he got 86 and he has that potential. And how is Tripti and your daughter? This is called management by wandering around, MBWA. And this has been started by HR people, Tom Peters. And just this pact can do amazing things. This is what Tata Steel doing is nothing else. This pact is a symbol of genuine acknowledgement of your dignity. Yes, sir. That I respect you I am okay, you are okay. I teach a course in Denmark, I've been teaching for 5 years. People who are 1/3 of my age, they call me by first name, okay? So this calling sir or piche gali dena, usse kya, what do you get? Because your body language, which conveys 93% of your communication, is so very important. And this touch, which is 93%, if the boss's words say, oh, you are my most valuable asset, and creates problem for you, what is the use of this? But this tax is so much, those who have low cost strategy, people ask me, what should we do? We can't afford this, what Google is giving. Yes, I don't say Google is your benchmark. Just do this. In fact, in India, we have this, when I was a child, the Nani's place is the best place, you will all agree, because nobody scolds you there. And my Nani used to do it like this, mera bachche, kuch kar do main tumhe. This is an Indian tradition, okay? Though normally you can't do it in a Western world, because homosexuals do this normally, so you should be very careful. This petting. You can do it to a woman, man can do it to a woman, but a man should not do it to a man, Anyway, so, but this is how culture differs, and this is a symbol of affection, that care. I love you, I have affection for you, I empathize you, and I know your problems. And I know you by name, I know your children by name. That shows, oh boss, mere bachcho ka bhi naam. My guide, Upendra Bakshi was my guide, and one day I took my son to a flower show, and then he said from distance, is he Viplav or Shashank? I was shocked, how does he know the names of my sons? And he read it in one of my acknowledgements, and how do you feel? Oh, you feel exuberance, isn't it? That my boss knows so much about me, he knows my children's name. And Tom Peters says you should know all your people by first name, you should go to them, see to them how they feel. And today HR is not confined to the office, HR is going into the personal life of people, and that is the extent to which